With a spin-off series already being created because of it, James Gunn's The Suicide Squad might be gearing up for a sequel. However, one has not been given the green light as of yet.
What are you gonna do? You gonna kill me, Mr. J?
But knowing that both Warner Brothers and James Gunn are up for yet another adventure, we think it's only a matter of time. The first Suicide Squad movie was somewhat of a blip, nothing really stick to anyone watching it. It was just another good CGI movie with a story that was good enough to not let you sleep through the movie.
You die.
I'm known to be quite vexing. I'm just forewarning you.
Lady, shut up!
However, the sequel, or like some fans like to call it, the reboot, helmed by James Gunn was groundbreaking, with the movie filled with excitement, which would ultimately lead to another sequel, potentially.
Haters give my squad a hard time too.
You really get me, Rob.
Your squad, my squad.
The movie itself has left some room for a potential sequel, a third movie in the franchise, which is also why we're here today, to tell you everything we know so far about a third Suicide Squad movie, which could happen down the line even if it's not made by James Gunn. One of the most interesting things surrounding this gang of misfits is that their stories in the comics are so versatile and with a different line up almost every single time they go on an adventure, which is due to the fact that because of a large number of members in the group eventually die over the course of the battles they take part in.
I am your ally, and I know what you want. Exactly.
This could potentially be put to use in the upcoming Suicide Squad movie, which would surely be connected to the previous one, but also feel fresh in its own way, a characteristic we can give to the franchise as it feels really fresh.
Gotta keep off these bars.
And these bars?
Yeah, those bars. Oh my god.
For the second movie, James Gunn took over writing and directing duties from David Ayer, who helmed the first movie back in 2016.
Shooting Margot/Harley's big action scene was the most fun. I love shooting action. Like I'm good at it.
At the time, the DCEU was very different from how it looks today. Several ups and downs in the development side of things are what changed the DCEU forever, hopefully for the good, with one of the ups certainly being the assignment of the Suicide Squad movie being given to James Gunn in 2018.
Are you Milton?
The movie was finally released in August 2021 on HBO Max, around 3 after it was announced that Gunn will be helming everything. Some of the cast were returning members from the first movie, with so many new faces making up the batch of characters we got in the sequel, who poised to be an exciting element to the DCEU mix. And now that we have that covered, and the movie proved to be a much bigger success than the first one, it's time to turn our heads towards what might be coming up, the Suicide Squad 3. Oh, and we almost forgot that the sequel has created a spin-off series in the form of Peacemaker, a character which gained a lot of praise in the second Suicide Squad series, which was confirmed by James Gunn that is placed after the events of the second movie, so if you haven't watched it, you definitely should, as it might entail some hints as to where the character will go next.
Buddy?
Maybe even a detail or two about the third Suicide Squad movie, you might never know. Before we move forward, if you're watching this video, we assume that you have already seen Suicide Squad 2, and you're ready for what comes next, but on the other hand, if you have not seen it yet, then unfortunately there will be spoilers up ahead, and with that out of the way, let us continue. The second movie of the franchise did quite a good job at the setting and story side of things, but it didn't manage to wow us at the box office. But considering it was released in the middle of the pandemic and not exclusive for a theatrical release, with it being also available on the HBO Max streaming platform, we can safely say that it did quite well. Despite the movie being regarded by many as a reboot or a sequel, we're here to tell you that it's a standalone movie in its own right. Sadly, there hasn't been anything regarding a sequel to James Gunn's The Suicide Squad. However, there might be promising news coming our way anytime now, especially since the release of its spin-off series already making its debut on the 13th of January 2022. According to the franchise, it seems like Gunn is always happy to return for a sequel of sorts, as he's the one who can bring a lot of freshness to the mix, the one who has the experience to do so. In an interview, Gunn even confirmed that yes, he has some ideas as to where the sequel could go. The sequel hasn't been confirmed yet, and it seems like the franchise is taking it one step at a time, unlike WB's last movie's announcements and news about several spin-offs and sequels ideas out there. And even though both the franchise and James Gunn are up for a sequel, it doesn't mean that one is in development yet. Nevertheless, if a potential sequel is announced, we would still have to wait until late 2023 or early 2024 to release, maybe even 2025, which is a long way off, and considering James Gunn is already working on the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 movie, he might consider taking some time off and us getting the potential movie even further down the line. The critical success of the movie is what made the franchise even think about a sequel, and a lot of the success of the movie itself is due to the wonderful cast members that took on a role for the movie. Thus, with that in mind, there might be some newcomers joining Amanda Waller's Task Force X in the potential sequel. Both of the previous movies have shared some of their anti-heroes, with a bunch of new faces making their debut.
Ratatouille, what do you got?
Third floor, hallways clear.
We were able to see some of the major DC characters once again, such as Killer Croc, Harley Quinn, and Deadshot, with unexpected characters like Ratcatcher, Polka Dot, and Bloodsport, quickly becoming some of the new favorites of the movie, going forward. Thus, we should expect the return of Bloodsport, portrayed by Idris Elba, Peacemaker, portrayed by John Cena, together with Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn, Sylvester Stallone as King Shark, Sean Gunn as Weasel, and Ratcatcher, played by Daniela Melchior. Viola Davis will certainly reprise her role as the cold-hearted Amanda Waller, together with her close 80s, including the likes of Jennifer Holland and Steve Agee. These are all members we can think of right now that might get featured in a potential sequel of the franchise, together with so many new faces bound to come to make their debut. Rick Flag's run in the comics has been interpreted by many versions, taking over and leading the Task Force X, and now with him sadly dead, the sequel will certainly need another Rick Flag to lead the team, and taking into account the post-credit scene and the spin-off series, it's somewhat clear that John Cena's Peacemaker will probably be the next leader of the Task Force X team. He's arguably the perfect soldier and one who would obey Amanda Waller's commands at any cost, thus appointing him would be the most reasonable choice for Amanda too, as she would have it easier with him than with Rick Flag, as we were able to witness by now. Beyond this, it's very difficult to say what the story of the sequel might be. In the comics, the second attempt from the Starro project comes in the form of the US government suffering some consequences, but considering the entire thing is down the drain with Starro dead, it's very likely that we'll get an entirely new separate mission, unlike anything we've ever seen before. On a related note, tell us down in the comments below what are your thoughts on James Gunn's The Suicide Squad, which of the characters has been your favorite, and where would you like to see the story go if a sequel is announced in the near future. And also don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon if you'd like to see more videos like this in the future. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.